Update on the numbers, because the numbers are changing. Positivity in microclusters, 5.91. Statewide positivity with microclusters, 4.49. With microclusters, 4.8. Over 200,000 tests, which is a lot of tests. 61 New Yorkers passed away. They're in our thoughts and prayers. 139 up on hospitalization, 41 up on ICU, 4 up on intubation. It's all about hospitalizations. Hospitalization rate, hospitalization capacity. Over the last 3 days, okay, that's how many people entered the hospitals from those areas over the last 3 days. Southern Tier has done really remarkably well since we had that problem. I think it really communicated to people. This is change in hospitals over the past week, okay? Past 7 days. New York City up 249, Long Island 181, Finger Lakes 142, Mid-Hudson 123. Obviously, highest number in New York City. So really you want to look at this compared to the population in that area, right? Yes, you're going to get more people out in New York City because New York City has 9 million people. This is the hospitalization by percentage of the region, which I think is probably the most telling tale. Western New York and Finger Lakes both have 0.03% of their populations hospitalized, 0.03. You then get to Central New York, Mohawk Valley, Mid-Hudson, Long Island, Southern Tier, Capital Region, you're at 0.02. New York City, North Country, 0.01. Got it? That is how many people are hospitalized as a percentage of that population. And that is, I think, probably the most relevant chart right now. In the broad scope of things, we're dealing with hospitalizations and increases. We are doing dramatically better than virtually every other state in the country. Who's doing better? Maine, Vermont, and Hawaii. Maine, Vermont, and Hawaii are in a different situation than New York, less population, less cities, less density, et cetera. We have been going back and forth with Massachusetts, but Massachusetts now is higher than New York is today. Total scope of things, total number of hospital beds in the state is what? 53,000. Hold it a second, go back. It's not totally accurate. 53,000 until we what? We flex, of the flex and surge. We can increase the 53,000 beds up to 75,000 beds, which we did last time, right? We added 50,000 beds. Do you remember that? How many beds are currently occupied? 35,000 beds. How many beds are currently occupied with COVID patients? 4,063. So that's the dimensions that we're dealing with. We're dealing with hospitalization rate, hospitalization capacity. You start with 53,000 beds. You can end elective surgery, reduce the number of people who are in those beds. You can expand the system. It's difficult, but you can do it. We did it last time by 50%. That brought you to about 75,000 beds. Today, 4,000 people hospitalized with COVID. At our height, how many people did we have hospitalized with COVID? At our peak, about 19,000, just to put all these numbers in perspective.